All right, good morning, one and all. Welcome to the video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you today is how to stop any IP address from accessing your REST API, that is Flask. There are a couple of ways, but I'm just going to show you the most easiest way, that is using TinyDB. So before beginning this tutorial, I want to give you a small crash course about TinyDB. So TinyDB is a kind of a JSON-like database. So it's kind of a JSON file, but it allows you to query the data pretty fast. Okay, so that's that. So I'm gonna use TinyDB to stop people to stop certain IP address from accessing our RESTful API. So let's get started. So first of all, a crash course, or like just a few 1 minute about TinyDB. So you basically say from TinyDB import TinyDB and query. So first of all, you create a database instance. So in this case, the name is db.json. You can add items to the database. So if you say db.insert, it inserts a JSON record. And if you see, that's how it looks. It creates. That's how data is stored in the TinyDB or the JSON file. So that's that. Other thing, you can get all the data. So you can simply say db.all. So it's gonna print all the data. You can iterate over the data. You can search data and stuff like that. Now you'll be like, hey, okay, that makes sense. Okay, it's just a simple database. Basically, you can add data and query data or remove data. How the hell are you going to use this to stop certain IP address? Well, yeah, let's see how we can leverage TinyDB, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my API. I have a very simple API right here. So I'm going to remove everything right there. Okay, very simple API. Basically, it's going to give you a hello world, right? So when you access it, of course. So I'm going to show you that. There you go. So I'm going to click here on the refresh. On the browser, you should see the IP address, and it's all good. Okay, so it's pretty good, right? So now I want to stop this IP address from accessing my API. Let's say for some reason this is a bad evil guy who's trying to mess up with your backend, right? You want to block that person. So there are a couple of ways to do this. I mean, I'm just going to show you the TinyDB way. So let's do it, right? Let's import TinyDB. So first of all, we're going to do that, right? I'm going to create a very simple helper class. Let's call DB for now. Hopefully DB is not a reserved keyword, otherwise it's gonna be like, what are you doing? So let's define a very simple constructor. In the constructor, what we're gonna do, we will basically define our database. That is, in this case, whatever name you wanna give, okay? I'm gonna give it, let's say the DB name, in my case is db.json. I'm gonna give it a default value. A good idea usually if you want to change that, but yeah, I'm not going to change it. So db is equal to actually, self.db is equal to db name, right? That's that. Over here, I would just do a formatting, self.db name. db, come on, what's going on? Actually db. Okay, so that's that. We created an instance of a class, TinyDB. Now that's that. Okay, now what we want to do, simple. We want to basically have a method called as insert, and basically some kind of a Boolean check method. So basically, it's going to check the IP address and return a Boolean. So let's define a method called as insert. Okay, this is going to take a JSON. It's going to take a JSON record. The default would be none. So the insert has to do basically, insert values, right? So I'm going to just define that. So I'm going to copy here, do that. So first of all, I want to check if none, return false. Okay, else you want to insert it, right? So you want to have some kind of check. Indent that a little bit here. So I should be doing, actually, you know what? Let's change this to db name, and let's create a self variable so I can access this. So self.db name is equal to this, and instead of this type right here, what I want to do is JSON record. So that's that. Once it does that, what I want to do, return true. So it basically returns a Boolean value here. Okay, yeah, it's just simple, instead of So JSON returns a bool, just some documentation. So people who are reading it, it's gonna be good. So that's that. Now I'm gonna have a method called as check, which is gonna check for the IP address if it's a blacklisted. Check blacklisted. So I'm gonna check, hey, if the IP address is blacklisted or not. So to do that, actually what I wanna do, let's come here, tinydb. I'm gonna copy this. Snippet, simple, nothing complicated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna define a response. Okay, so the response is gonna be this one right there. Self dot. Okay, self.db.search cursor. So I gotta define my cursor. I forgot to do that. Let's go there. Cursor. Define a query. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so what I want to do is now, instead of type, I'm gonna insert a JSON data, something like, I'm gonna show you actually. So it's gonna be like this. So it's gonna be like an IP address and then the value 127. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna be storing it. So based on that, I'm gonna query the data. So I'm gonna say IP, and I'm gonna blacklist. So it's gonna basically take an IP address. Okay, so the default is none. So basically I'm gonna say none. So okay, so here remove the print self.db. Okay, so rest is this. So if self.db.search cursor.ip address is equal to none, what am I doing? Not none. It's IP address. If it is IP address, and now check the response. If res is equal to this, or if res is none, return. So if it is none, that means this IP address is not blacklisted. So I should return false, right? Else return true, right? Because that's a block IP address, right? That makes sense, right? Very simple. So that's that. Okay. This class has to take an IP address always. So that's, wait, why is it Apple here? Oh, I think yeah, that's that. Okay, so that's a very simple blacklist or check blacklisted class, or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's that. Our helper function is ready. Now all I gotta do is, whenever a request comes, always I want to basically check, right? So what we want to do now? Okay, so we have the IP. Come on, just gonna copy that one. So let's say request.remote address. Okay, so we have that. Now what do you want to do, guys? Simple, right? Every time IP address comes, we want to check, right? If it's a blacklisted. So what we want to do is we're going to create an instance of a class, a DB helper. That's right on the top, right there. So we do that. Okay, once you do that, what you want to do? Hey, you want to basically call the method, right? So flag is equal to, yeah, we want to say instance dot, we want to say, hey, what do you want to do? Hey, check for blacklisted. Check blacklisted. Okay, pass me what? Pass me an IP address. IP address is what? So it's going to be remote ADDR right there. So it's going to return a flag, right? Perfect. So we're going to say if flag, if it is true, that means you're blocked. You shouldn't be getting access. So if I'm going to say not a flag, so not a flag. Wait, why? I was trying to do the, come on. If not flags. Yeah, I'm gonna do other way around. Hold on. If flags pass, else pass. Okay. So that's my return all good. So if it's a flag, that means it's a blocked. You don't want to give access, else you want to give access. So in the else part, I'm gonna say, okay, return all good. Or you want to say, hey, unauthorized. Don't access my IP address 400 or 404, whatever you want to say. Let's send a 200 response right there. That looks pretty beautiful, right? Isn't it? Pretty much good. Good. Now let's try it out. I might have done a mistake, but it's fine. We'll see. Let's test it out. I mean, yeah. So that's that. Oops, come on. What are you doing? Localhost. 5,000, right? All good. All right. That looks good. Looks good. Look good. Now let's try to block this IP address and then try to see. So for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a class. I'm gonna basically define one more API, which is just gonna. This is gonna be like an admin API. So people can add a blacklist. So it's a blacklist class. Basically, it's used for adding IP addresses of people whom you wanna blacklist, right? So all you gotta do here is pretty much I guess you gotta define a what was that? Yeah, you should take an IP address and just gonna add it on the database, right? So what we wanna do here is insert, okay, IP. Come, what the hell? Okay, so that's gonna be the IP address that you want to enter here. You don't need these flags and all. Okay, yeah, pretty easy. This one now, so we gotta define a query parameter here. Okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna just copy from my snippets out there. Pretty easy. Parser. Let's define IP type string required false. Okay, that looks good. So that's that. Okay. Am I missing anything? Yeah, of course you are missing. So blacklist out there, and so that's the route. Okay, so just a blacklist route. I'm gonna open my Postman pretty quick so that we can verify the entire stuff. So meanwhile it's opening, I just want to verify. So blacklist, we have a query parameter. Of course, then I have to use that query parameter. Let me see. I think yeah, in the constructor, right? So done init, pass, simple, easy. Now I'm gonna define the query parameter IP. Okay, so that's that. Now here I want to do. Okay, perfect. That's pretty much it, right? Let's verify this everything. Okay, let's do let's refresh everything. Should be fine. I think. Excuse me. Where is my Postman? Didn't I open that? Postman. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. That's taking quite a while. Oops. Let me put that on the other screen because I have my other APIs open, so I wanna like minimize that and then I'm gonna show you. Otherwise, it's gonna be a problem for me because I use my work laptop. So let me put this away. Don't say. Okay. So yeah, we have on the Postman. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new one right there. So now what we want to do is copy that, make sure we get all good. So that's good. Okay, so okay, we get that right. Now we want to blacklist that IP address, right? So we're gonna again copy that and we're gonna go to the blacklist route slash blacklist. Okay, and remember it takes an IP address as a query parameter. So we're gonna give an IP address right there, a piece of cake. And I'm gonna block 127.0.0. I mean for now. So that's that. Let's try out this one. Blacklist. Hopefully it should work. We have an error. Seems like yes, we do have an error. Let's see. Okay, what went wrong? Response handler. Flags instance insert. Okay, attribute blacklist object has no attribute IP. Okay, so it says it has no attribute IP. Sorry, that means hold on. So that means it's not grabbing the IP address for some reason. Okay, let me actually. That's why I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. See what I did. So it's all good. Actually, this has got to be self.ip address. Yeah, my bad. That's what happens when you copy paste a lot. Okay, so that should technically work. Okay, so let's run that. We can also, see the JSON here. Not that one. That's let's go to API db.json. So we don't have anything. That's good. Yeah. So now let's run that and let's verify that. Why do I have this? I mean, it shouldn't be a problem though. Whatever. Instant.insert. Okay, so basically you're inserting. So it's gonna call this method right here. Return false. If it's none, it's gonna return false. Else dp.insert. Yeah, it should work. I mean, I don't see a problem there. Why it shouldn't work? Yeah, let's try it out. Let's try it again. Yeah, if it's error, it's fine. We'll fix it. No problem. Yeah. Okay, now what do we have? Again, it's break. So it seems like it's breaking in the insert statement, and I'm gonna verify why it's breaking. So let's go here to the method insert. So it seems like it's not inserting the value. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna first of all make sure that, hey, are you getting the value here or the JSON record? So I'm gonna. So that's my first thing that I wanna make sure that, hey, is it? So are you getting the right value there? First of all, make sure that that is done. So of course it's gonna break, but I want to see if it prints that. Seems like it's not even going there, right? I mean, to me, yeah, that's the problem, right? Is it a get, right? I'm making a get request, IP address. Yeah, looks good. Hold on, let's not. I'm gonna do this way. Hold on, I want to see what's going on. I mean, it's weird. So yeah, let's define a payload. I'm actually gonna print that payload here itself because. You know what? Yeah, actually I want to do self dot. Okay, so that's that. Isko comment karte hai. We'll comment it out for a while. Okay, and let's also that one right there. Okay, so looks good, right? So now, I mean, it should not break in theory. So blacklist. I want to see if he. Wait, there's something wrong. I mean, I don't know. Blacklist object has no attribute IP. What do you mean no attribute IP? That's weird. What has no attribute IP? I mean, I'm passing it. Hold on. What's going on? One sec. I think I messed up somewhere. Yeah, of course I did, but I don't know where exactly. Yeah, I'm passing the right stuff here. Let's do IP address. Oh, look at this, guys. INT. I forgot init. It's. Oh God. That's why. Stupid mistake. Yeah, happens all the time, you know, with me. Yeah, so now it should work now, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that was the stupid mistake. I'm like, yeah, so I fixed that. It was a simple typo. That's what happened when you try to type pretty fast. So IP address, now that's fixed, okay. Yeah, I mean, it should work now. Okay, let's try out. I wanna refresh my, wait, what? Flags instance or insert. Wait, where did I mess up again? It's a simple code. Oh, again, forgot that. Oh boy, it's fine. So yeah, that's that. Let's test out the response first. We should get all good, which is good. We got the response. Now we're gonna add that into a blacklist. Oh, blacklist has no IP. Wait, I don't have it. Ah, come on, man. IP address. Yeah, I think. Where is my specs? Yeah, let's fix that one right there. So hopefully now it works. So let's try out. All right, IP address added to the blacklist. Oh, it's coming none. Why is it coming none? I did parse that, so it's gonna go none in the database. See, yeah, see, come on, why is it coming none? Oh, I know why, because I'm passing IP and Sawmill. What are you doing? Okay, IP address. Okay, I promise everything is fixed now. Okay, so remove that. Okay, so refresh that. This is gonna work now. So I'm gonna add that. Okay, so the IP address has been added to the database. So now you can see that in the TinyDB, right? Now, if I try to access that with this, I should get unauthorized or whatever. Unauthorized. Perfect. So that is how you would stop a. That is how you would block an IP address, and that is how you would block an IP address from accessing your Flask RESTful API. That is thing. So you gotta store the thing in either Redis cache or or some kind of a database, TinyDB, MongoDB, SQL, whatever. So you gotta query the data and see if that IP address is there in the blacklist. If it is there, don't allow it. Otherwise, allow it. So stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. What you could do also is, this code, all this code, you could just try to decode it. I mean, eventually I'm gonna write it, but I just wanted to show you the concept, how things work. So yeah, if you have any more questions, kindly list your question in the comment section below, and I would be very happy to assist you. Once again, thank you for love, thank you for all the support, and keep smiling, keep coding, and see you guys in next time.